My mother rejected me my entire life for being the mistake. But when I got pregnant, she showed up at my baby shower with my ex-boyfriend. And what he revealed in front of everyone left her destroyed and alone forever. I'm 28 years old, happily married to Andrew, and 6 months ago our daughter was born. But I need to tell this story because what happened at my baby shower basically finished destroying whatever relationship might have been left with my mother. And honestly, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. I guess I should start from the beginning, because this story doesn't start at the baby shower. It starts like 28 years ago when Brenda, my mother, got pregnant with me in high school. And yes, I said Brenda, because she never let me call her mom. She always insisted I call her by her first name, something that seemed weird to me as a kid, but that I now understand perfectly. My biological father, Kevin, was Brenda's boyfriend in high school when she got pregnant. According to what he told me years later, when Brenda told him she was pregnant, he made it very clear that he was going to support her financially and be present in my life, but that he didn't want to continue the relationship with her. Kevin explained this to me when I was like 16, and he was super honest with me. He told me that he and Brenda just didn't work as a couple, that they fought all the time, that she was very dramatic and jealous, and that he didn't want to raise a baby in that environment. But he kept his word. He was always there for me. He paid for everything I needed, visited me regularly, and to this day we have an amazing relationship. The problem was never Kevin. The problem was always Brenda. When I was like 3 years old, Brenda met Steven at her work. Steven was a super calm guy, worked in accounting or something like that, and was the complete opposite of Brenda. I don't know what he saw in her, honestly, because Brenda has always been intense, dramatic, and needs to be the center of attention constantly. But Steven fell in love with her, and within a year they got married. I remember very little about the wedding, just that there were a lot of people and that they left me with a babysitter most of the time. A year after the marriage, Grace was born, my half-sister, and that's when everything really changed. Grace was the apple of Brenda's eye, like literally from the moment she was born. And look, it's not Grace's fault at all. She's my best friend and always has been. But it was obvious to anyone who saw us that Brenda had a favorite. When we were like 5 and 8 years old, I remember that for my birthday, Brenda would make me a simple cake at home. We'd invite 2 or 3 friends, and that was it. But for Grace's birthday, Brenda would organize complete parties with clowns, elaborate decorations, expensive gifts, the whole show. Grace would even tell me she felt bad about it. She'd ask me why our parties were so different, and I'd tell her it didn't matter, but of course it mattered. I was an 8-year-old girl watching my mother clearly prefer my sister. Steven always tried to compensate. He treated me exactly the same as Grace. Called me his daughter without the step in between, helped me with homework, went to my school events, everything. Kevin also stayed present, so in terms of father figures, I was fine. But with Brenda, it was different. She always maintained this emotional distance with me that she didn't have with Grace. When Grace cried, Brenda would run to hug and comfort her. When I cried, Brenda would tell me to calm down, that I was being dramatic. When Grace got good grades, Brenda would brag about her to all her friends. When I got good grades, Brenda barely mentioned it. It was like living invisible in my own house. The worst part was that Brenda never admitted it. If someone said something to her, she'd get super defensive and say she treated both her daughters the same, that I was the one exaggerating things, that I was too sensitive. But it wasn't just my perception. Kevin noticed it. Steven noticed it. Even the teachers at school noticed it. I remember once a teacher called home worried because, in an exercise about family, I had written that my mom was my babysitter, and when Brenda went to school to talk to the teacher, she was furious with me, told me I had embarrassed her. How could I say those things? I was 9 years old, and honestly, that's how I felt. Like Brenda was just someone who lived in the same house as me but wasn't really my mom. I grew up with this dynamic, you know. I learned not to expect anything from Brenda and to receive all the love and support from Kevin and Steven. Grace and I became super close despite everything. She always defended me when Brenda got on my case, and I never resented her for being the favorite because it wasn't her fault. When it was time to go to college, I was super excited to get out of that house. I got accepted to a university that was like 4 hours away. Kevin helped me with all the expenses, and I left. Brenda barely reacted when I told her I had been accepted, just said something like, "That's nice," and kept watching TV. Steven and Grace cried when I left. They helped me pack, took me to university, helped me settle into the dorm. Brenda didn't even go. said she had things to do. During the 4 years of college, Brenda practically didn't contact me. I'd call home every week to talk to Stephen and Grace, and sometimes Brenda was there and wouldn't even get on the phone. Kevin visited me every 2 months, sent me money for expenses, asked me how my classes were going. Stephen also visited me when he could, would take me to eat, ask me about my life. Grace and I talked by message all the time. We were as close as always. But Brenda? Nothing. It was like I didn't exist to her when I wasn't physically present. In my final year of college, I met Tyler in a literature class. We both took as an elective. Tyler was super handsome, like tall, athletic, perfect smile, and we connected immediately. We started dating and things were amazing from the start. He was sweet, attentive, made me laugh, and when I brought for him to meet my family at my graduation, everyone loved him. Kevin said he liked him. Stephen said he seemed like a good guy. Grace said he was super cute. And Brenda made weird comments all day. When we took photos after the ceremony, Brenda stood next to Tyler and told him something like, "Take good care of my girl," but in a super flirtatious tone that made me uncomfortable. Then at dinner, Brenda wouldn't stop talking to Tyler, asking him about his life, his plans, laughing at all his jokes in an exaggerated way. Tyler told me afterwards that he thought it was weird, but that she was probably just being friendly. A few months later, Brenda sent Tyler a friend request on Facebook. Tyler mentioned it to me because he thought it was strange, but I told him Brenda did those things, that she probably just wanted to keep up with my life or something. Tyler accepted the request, and I didn't think more about it. It was just Facebook. How relevant could it be? Tyler and I were together. For 3 years, we lived together for like a year and a half, and honestly, it was a super healthy relationship. But there came a point where we both realized we wanted different things in life. He wanted to move to another state for an amazing job opportunity, and I wanted to stay close to my family, especially Grace and Stephen. We talked a lot about this and decided to end things in a good way, without drama, just acknowledging that our paths were separating. We stayed friends after that, like we'd send each other messages occasionally, wish each other happy birthday, that kind of thing. About 6 months after breaking up with Tyler, I met Andrew at a work conference. Andrew was a software engineer, super smart, a bit nerdy but in a good way, and I liked him from the first moment. We started talking after the conference, realized we lived in the same city, and started dating. With Andrew, everything was different. It was deeper, more real. 8 months into dating, we realized we wanted to be together forever, and we got engaged. 2 months later, I found out I was pregnant, and it was like the happiest moment of my life. It wasn't planned, but we were both super excited. When I told Brenda I was engaged and pregnant, her reaction was literally the worst. Instead of congratulating me, the first thing she said was, "You're not with Tyler anymore?" And when I told her no, that Tyler and I had broken up months ago, she said, "What a shame, he was so handsome." Then she asked me who Andrew was. I showed her photos, told her about him, and she just said, "He looks normal. I guess that's fine." She didn't ask me how I felt, didn't ask me about the wedding, didn't ask me about the baby. Just made those comments and changed the subject. Stephen and Grace were super excited, Kevin too. But Brenda acted like I had given her the weather report. Andrew and I decided to get married before I started showing too much. We organized a small and simple wedding with close family and friends. Brenda arrived at the last minute, literally when the ceremony was about to start, sat all the way in the back, and left immediately after without even congratulating us. She didn't go to the reception, didn't give us a gift, nothing. Grace told me afterwards that Brenda had said the wedding was rushed and that I was making a mistake marrying someone I barely knew instead of staying with Tyler. I was used to Brenda saying hurtful things, but that hurt more than I expected. When I was about 5 months pregnant, Brenda called me for the first time in months. I thought she was finally going to ask how I was, how the pregnancy was going, if I needed anything. But no. She called me to tell me she wasn't ready to be a grandmother, that I was ruining her reputation because people were going to think she was old, and that I should have waited longer to have kids. I told her I was 27 years old, that I wasn't that young, that Andrew and I were happy and ready for this. She said I've always been selfish, that I never thought about how my decisions affected her. I exploded. Like I literally yelled at her on the phone that she was the most narcissistic person I had ever met, that everything always had to be about her, that she had never been a real mother to me, and that I didn't need her support because I had never had it anyway. She yelled back at me, told me I was ungrateful, that she had sacrificed her youth for me, and I hung up on her. After that call, I decided I didn't want to have contact with Brenda until the baby was born, and possibly not even after. Grace, Stephen, and Kevin agreed with my decision. Stephen told me Brenda was acting ridiculously and that he was going to talk to her, but that I had the right to protect my peace of mind during pregnancy. Grace visited me all the time, helped me set up the baby's room, organized my baby shower with my friends. The date of the baby shower arrived and I was super excited. We had invited like 40 people, mostly friends of mine and Andrew's, family, co-workers. I didn't invite Brenda, obviously, but I did invite Stephen and Grace because they were my real family. The day of the baby shower, everything was going perfectly. The place was beautifully decorated. There was delicious food. Everyone was happy playing the typical baby shower games, opening gifts, taking photos. I was there with my 7-month belly, feeling beautiful and loved, surrounded by people who really cared about me. And then, like halfway through the event, Brenda showed up. She wasn't alone. She brought Tyler with her. I froze when I saw them come in. Literally couldn't process what I was seeing. Andrew was next to me and squeezed my hand, asked me if I wanted him to throw them out. But before I could answer, Brenda was already walking towards me with Tyler behind her, smiling like nothing was wrong. Brenda hugged me for the first time in years, I think, and said out loud, so everyone could hear, "Surprise, my love. I brought to you someone special." I pulled away from her and asked her what the hell she was doing, and she said, "I thought it would be nice for Tyler to be here. After all, he was the love of your life." Tyler looked super uncomfortable, like clearly didn't know what to say, and Andrew was red with rage. People around started to murmur. Grace came running towards us, asking what was happening, and Stephen was telling Brenda to leave immediately. But Brenda wasn't leaving. She kept standing there smiling like she had done something wonderful, and then she said the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. She said, "Tyler and I have been talking a lot lately, and he wants to give you a second chance. Right, Tyler? You can leave this mistake. You're still in time. Tyler is waiting for you." I couldn't believe what I was hearing, like I literally was speechless. Andrew said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" addressing Brenda, and Grace yelled at her that she was crazy. But what nobody expected was what Tyler said next. Tyler turned to Brenda and told her, "Brenda, this is enough. I'm not going to continue with this." Brenda looked at him confused, and Tyler continued, "Talking to me now? I'm so sorry. She's been sending me messages on Facebook for weeks, telling me you made a mistake, that I should come to this baby shower and convince you to leave Andrew, that you still loved me. I told her no, that you and I broke up years ago, that you're happy with Andrew, but she wouldn't stop insisting. She offered to pay for my trip if I came, told me you were going to thank me, that she was saving your life. I thought if I came and showed her that you're happy, she would finally understand it and leave you alone, but I see this was a mistake." The silence that followed was absolutely deadly. Everyone was staring at Brenda, like 40 people watching her standing there as they processed what Tyler had just said. Brenda went pale, then red, and started stuttering, trying to deny it, saying, Tyler was lying, that she just wanted me to be happy. Stephen told her to leave immediately, or he was going to personally remove her. Grace was crying, hugged me, and told me she was so sorry, that she didn't know Brenda was going to show up. I just wanted it to be over, wanted Brenda to disappear from my life forever. Tyler apologized to me and Andrew again, said he was so sorry, that he never wanted to cause problems, and left. Brenda tried to stay, tried to talk to me, but Stephen literally took her by the arm and escorted her out of the place. I broke down, started crying, and my friends surrounded me trying to console me. Andrew was furious but also worried about me, took me to sit down, brought me water, hugged me. The rest of the baby shower was weird. People tried to continue as if nothing had happened, but obviously everyone was processing what they had just witnessed. Grace stayed with me the whole time, didn't let go of my hand, kept telling me over and over that Brenda was sick, that what she did wasn't normal. After that day, both Grace and I completely cut contact with Brenda. Grace told her that what she did was unforgivable, that she had crossed a line with no return, and that she didn't want to know anything about her until she apologized to me and sought professional help. Stephen also separated from Brenda a few weeks after the baby shower. He told me he had been seeing the treatment she gave me for years, that he had always tried to defend me, but that the baby shower was the straw that broke the camel's back. He asked Brenda to apologize to me, to admit what she had done, and to go to therapy. Brenda refused, said she hadn't done anything wrong, that everyone was exaggerating, that I was ungrateful. Stephen told me he couldn't continue being married to someone like that after 25 years of marriage he finally saw Brenda for what she really was. My baby was born 6 months ago. A beautiful and healthy girl named Emma. Kevin was at the hospital. When she was born, Stephen too, Grace didn't miss a moment. Andrew was the most attentive dad in the world during delivery and continues to be now. Brenda tried to get to the hospital when she found out she had been born, but security didn't let her in because I had given specific instructions that she wasn't welcome. She sent me messages asking if she could meet her granddaughter, and I blocked her everywhere. Grace tells me Brenda still doesn't understand why everyone has pushed her out of their lives, still believes she's the victim in all this. There are days when I feel bad about not having a relationship with my mother. You know? Like you see other people with their moms. So close, so loving, and it hurts to think I never had that and probably never will. But then I see Emma. I see the life. Andrew and I are building for her. I see how Grace is the most amazing aunt, how Kevin is the most loving grandfather, how Stephen continues to be my dad, even though he's no longer married to Brenda, and I realize I have more love than I need. I don't need someone who never knew how to truly love me, who was always jealous of my happiness, who did everything possible to sabotage the best moment of my life. Sometimes I wonder why Brenda is like this. What's inside her that makes her so incapable of being happy for me, so needy for attention that she prefers to destroy rather than celebrate? But honestly, it doesn't matter anymore. It's not my problem anymore. My problem now is raising my daughter in an environment full of love, teaching her that family isn't always blood, that it's okay to walk away from toxic people no matter who they are. Last week, Emma laughed for the first time, and we were all there. Andrew, me, Grace, Stephen, Kevin, and I thought in that moment that this is what matters. These are the moments I'm going to remember. I don't need Brenda to be happy. I never needed her.